Put your red shoes on. We're headed back to Kansas. The Sunflower State is here. 4 more states left to go, smart movers. I'm on my way to completing all 50 states, the states review, where we just deep dive on the taxes, housing market, crime, safety, quality of life, all of it. If you missed out on any episodes or any states that you're interested, I made a playlist for the entire series. So it's on the channel. All you got to do is subscribe if you like this type of information, and then go check it out in the playlist. All right, so the Kansas deep dive, the Sunflower State, is it a quiet comeback? Are they talking the language we like to hear around here, which is freedom? Okay, the language is freedom. And that's really all that we care about. We don't want to continue paying over these overpriced states our hard-earned income for life. They still own our houses at the end of the day. You might as well still own our land and house somewhere cheaper, where it takes the stress off your shoulders. We are stressed out. As you see, 77% currently of Americans feeling the pinch right now when it comes to cost of living, when it comes to everything, because we are living in a debt-riddled society. And that's what we're trying to help smart movers here do, is make wiser choices for the future. Maybe you have to move out of that high-priced state. Maybe you have to move out of that corrupt state. Maybe you have to move out of that state that's not supporting your best interests, whether it be business, family, safety, quality, whatever it is. The goal is peace. So let's find out if Kansas brings us that peace. Why consider Kansas? It does have a low cost of living. Housing is 40% cheaper than the national average. There's a flat income tax of 5.25%. That's dropping, if it already hadn't, to 5.15%. Number 1 in the U.S. for new business growth. Short winters, central location, 3-hour flight to both coasts. So you have that. Revitalized cities, Wichita and Kansas City suburbs are booming. So who's moving here and why? First, let's start off with the population. It is at 2.94. That's seen a 3.8% increase since 2020. The net migration is positive. It's sitting at 18,000 a year. People are coming in from California, Missouri, and Illinois. Okay, California, they want the affordable housing. Missouri, they're crossing over for better schools and jobs. And Illinois, they're escaping high taxes and crime, okay? Top relocation reasons, okay? You have highest home ownership rate for millennials, which is 52% here in Kansas. Aerospace hub in Wichita, the air capital of the world. Central time zone, ideal for remote work. So you don't have to get up 4 hours early, living in California with everything starting in Eastern Standard Time here on this coast. You could kind of get up 2 hours early, right? 2 hours earlier. Okay, who's leaving? Young professionals. They like the Dallas, Denver. They like the cool factor. They like the vibes. We already spoke about that. For them, it's about being in more of a urban space, the dinners, the shows, the movies, the tickets, the da-da-da. Okay, rural residents, farm consolidation continues. And in a state like Kansas, where agriculture plays a major role, if you don't have pretty much a private equity farm or a backed farm, it's hard to keep up with the cost, the tariffs. People don't just have land for sale in a generation when it comes to farming, right? So if you haven't expanded, things are going bad. 1 bad season, 2 bad seasons, 3 bad seasons, prices, you could really have to either consolidate, get out of the business, or whatever. Did you know Wichita builds 70% of the world's general aviation planes? You thought it was what? You thought it was Alabama. Textron, Spirit Aerosystems, they coming in for that. Johnson County has better public schools than 98% of U.S. counties. That is crazy to know. I know they don't have better public schools than Jersey, though. I think Jersey is probably either number 1 or number 2. Maybe Kansas is number 3. Did not know that, but wow, Johnson County is doing a great job. All right, so real talk. Let's talk about what matters. Let's talk about housing. Let's talk about cost of living for a second. So median home price right now in Overland Park, which is a great area. It's probably has the best schools in the entire Midwest. The median home price is still under the nation's average. That's sitting at $375,000. That's seen an 8% year over year change. That's because people are moving in. And Wichita, 220, that's increased 6%. Aerospace job boom over in Wichita. Lawrence, 280. Topeka, 175. Manhattan, 250. Manhattan, you're going to see that military stability there. Okay. Rent, you're looking at $850 in Topeka to about $1,500 a month in Overland Park. Mortgage, that's about $1,200 a month for a 2,500 square foot home in Wichita. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Okay, taxes. Income tax is flat at 5.25%. As we mentioned, property tax is 1.4% average. Homestead exemptions are available. Sales tax, it could go up anywhere to 8.5. The state sales tax is 6.5. Groceries taxed at a reduced rate. No tax on Social Security. 250-year property tax rebate for seniors is what they're getting as a perk. Job market, unemployment is 2.9%. That's below the national average. The top employers are Garmin, University of Kansas Medical Center, Fort Riley, Spirit Aerosystems in Wichita. Salaries, aircraft mechanic could get $65K, nurse, and that's aircraft mechanic. There's no degree, but you do have to get specialized training on that. Nurse, $70K, shortages statewide. There's gonna be a nurse shortage period. There was one in 2005 to 2008 or 2004 to 2008 where there was just a shortage. They were pulling in nurses from places like the Philippines, Africa, everywhere to fill the gaps on these nursing shortages. Well, for $70K, a nurse they should be at $100K easy. Software engineer, that's $90K, lower pay, but ultra low cost of living there. So you're seeing the changes, whether you are a software engineer in New York, in Silicon Valley, a nurse in upstate New York, you're seeing that change. The travel nurses are getting the best rate right now. Okay. Red flag, Wichita's aviation dependence. So Boeing layoffs hurt, and there's something going on with the plane. There's something going on with what's going on in aviation that could either make or break Wichita, right? So the stability of that area depends so much on the biggest employer there. Same with Memphis, with FedEx. If FedEx has a crisis, and sometimes it's up and down for them, but they've been holding steady for years. But still, it's highly dependent on that major employer there. Western Kansas population is collapsing. There's 45 counties declining right now because of low economic and other challenges that they're facing. Lifestyle and culture. They love the Chiefs. They love the Royals. They're sports fans. They love Kansas University basketball. That's their stuff. Outdoors, Flint Hills Trails. They got 24 state parks there. Food, they love the sunflower honey, Bay Rocks, Joe's KC barbecue. Am I telling the truth or am I not? Okay. Cons, you got Dorothy headed back to Kansas, and she's going in tornado risks, right? The cons are tornadoes are crazy, especially April, June. So we're just moving into the height of tornado season here in Kansas. Car dependency. Minimal public transportation is available. We'll see with most of these Midwest, Middle America states is that unless you live in a major hub, and even then you still have some real segregated or disconnected pieces of public transportation where it may just serve just this crazy small area. But once you move out of that area, no. Okay. All right, so safety and politics. Kansas City Metro violent crime is 1.5 times the state average. So Kansas City Metro, of course, you know Kansas City is in Missouri. You got, I had to learn that. Wait a second. Now, hold on. Why is it on this map? Why is it on this map? I'm gonna probably edit that out. If it's a lie, I'm gonna edit it out. If it's not, I'm gonna keep it there. Okay, yeah, I figured that. Wait. Wait a second. Is there a Kansas City, Kansas, and a Kansas City, Missouri? Okay, I have to come back to that because now I'm totally messed up now. There's a Kansas City, Kansas, and a Kansas City, Missouri. Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Let me keep it moving. All right. When I was in Missouri and I was driving around, guys, and I went to Kansas City and I was talking to somebody. I was like, yeah, I got to head to Kansas. I'm going to Kansas City. They're like, Kansas City is in Missouri, you big Dumbo. And now I'm looking, it says Kansas City, KCK, is the third most populous city in the U.S. state of Kansas and the county seat of Wyandotte County. It is an inner suburb of the older and more populous Kansas City, Missouri, after which it is named. Wow. Strizzy just learned something. You should see my eyes popping out my head. Big brain, small brain moment here. All right. Politics, red state trending purple. Democratic governor, GOP legislature. Abortion banned after 22 weeks. Best places to live. Overland Park, best schools, low crime. Wichita, most job opportunities. Lawrence, college town culture. Lenexa, family-friendly suburb. And Manhattan University and military stability. Think twice about Dodge City because you got high crime. It's a meat-packing town. And liberal, yes, that's a city's name, okay, is on a rural decline. So, other than me being shocked as hell, should you move to Kansas? If you want big city amenities at small town prices, yes. If you work in aviation, healthcare, or remotely, yes. If you value short commutes and family-friendly suburbs, yes. If you need mountains or oceans, no. If you hate tornado seasons, hell no. Okay? So yes, if you could get more house for less money. No, you think it's too flat, too boring. And maybe you could do only Kansas City suburbs. Kansas City, Kansas. Kansas City, Missouri. Holy shit. Okay, sources today is my very own Wikipedia on my right screen, looking that up. And then Kansas City, Kansas Department of Revenue, U.S. Census, Wichita Economic Development, FBI. So that's what the Sunflower State offers. And hopefully you guys could make a great decision based on wherever you are. May not be Kansas, but I've covered all 50 states, and you can go check that out in the playlist and make the wisest decision for you and your family and your employment and your life and your peace and your happiness. And I will catch you another time. Thank you.